So with open beta on Steam, I was finally able to play the thing. Still, frankly, I didn't want to do a video on Paladins, due to my hatred towards Hi-Rez for what they did to tribes, and I wouldn't be quite objective in that regard. Now though, I thought, well, even if I'm not making a video, I might as well give it a fair chance of surprising me. And it did! It pissed me off even more! And so, here we are. Let's start with the obvious stuff. It's a fucking clone of Overwatch. At this point, trying to deny it, it's like trying to deny World Wars. It's fucking stupid. And yet Hi-Rez did that. Funny thing is, with previously mentioned two examples, they changed basically two skills, so it wouldn't be a complete rip. And fuck, even visually they don't seem to give a fuck and mostly copied them. Seriously, I have to wonder, where's the imagination? Here, I must point out that Overwatch was announced in November 2014, and Paladins was announced in August 2015. In that time span, you can make a game, so every time Hi-Rez says that they didn't clone it is bullshit. And you know, this is not the first game Hi-Rez made in such manner. Arguably, first one was Smite, since Smite was announced few months after Dota 2 was released. And sure, yes, you can say that this is just a coincidence, but I don't think so. Hi-Rez, in my eyes, is a company that is trying to emulate bigger, more successful companies by copying their work, in hopes of gaining that spillover player base. Now, making clones isn't a bad thing, let me stress that. This is how most things work in the real life too. You take what someone else has done and try to maybe improve upon it, which should be LoL and Dota for example. But then there is also shameless rip-off creations, and frankly, Hi-Rez is balancing between those two. Now I just want to say that Hi-Rez is fairly predictable when it comes to games. For next few years they will focus on their games, but one day they'll decide to rip off another successful title, and at this point I'm fucking sure of it. And by doing so, they'll leave their old titles undermanned or to die. Like they did with Tribes, these fucking cunts. Still, I'd say the latter option is very unlikely at this point. Anyways, when it comes to Paladins itself, it's okay, nothing special. But mostly, it's boring. After initial wow colors moment, there is not much substance to the game. Another way you can tell this is a rushed hack job is by looking at model and texture quality. Fucking hell, what is this? And this? Pixelated view models? Really? This is just sad. But then again, when you have to rush out a half-assed thing, this is what you get. Seriously, if you look at Tribes Ascent, it has way better textures and models. Seriously, on my first game, character animations stood out to me so much I wondered if those people animating just didn't give a fuck, or they were on a tight schedule to rush out more shit. But okay, let's get back to the game at hand. Now, a good move was to make it a free-to-play game. Certainly those that can't or don't want to pay for Overwatch will flock to Paladins and maybe buy something in time. And there's the thing, once money stops rolling in, they will most likely throw it away just like they did with Tribes. But okay, fine, sure. Now Tribes is getting some attention and patches are slowly coming out. But the fact that Hi-Rez was willing to let the fucking great game die tells me a lot of what they are willing to do for another clone of a famous thing. My suggestion here is not to trust the company with anything. Not only because of these decisions, but also because of what they have done in Tribes time. See, back in the day, Tribes subreddit was ready to ban Hi-Rez employees from it, due to them being rude and wanting to make subreddit their official forums. Sure, it might not sound too bad, but the way they went about it wasn't too smart. In short, the whole debacle was quite something and didn't go well with community. Nonetheless, this showed how well Hi-Rez handled their community. And when it comes to Paladins, you already have some dark moments. Good example was them trying to justify making Paladins and it not being a clone. And then later on making some few other statements and so on. Anyhow, in beta I played and managed to crash the game several times. And after most of those crashes, I wasn't able to play the game ever again, until I restarted my PC. But I'll be damned if this is not shady workmanship. And another great thing that Paladins have is early access title on Steam. Do you know what early access title for Paladins mean? This early access title will most likely be kept after the beta. It means the devs could be lazy and take no responsibility if they break it. Because you know, it's beta and early access, so anything goes. And did you know, statistically, only 25% of the games come out of early access. So frankly, I don't see this game doing this, because with constant complaints, hiding behind early access or beta shields is really easy and pathetic. Did you hear that? Daybreak. As a last word, I must say, gameplay-wise, Paladins is filled with particles that will try to mask what a rushed job this game actually is. Card system is needlessly added to differentiate it from Overwatch, and frankly, much like leveling system in Battleborn, it's frustrating, but at least Battleborn was made in MOBA spirit and had some self-respect, even though it was made by Gearbox, the fucking pricks who butchered aliens. In general, Paladins will get very boring and repetitive very quickly, so enjoy it while you can, because I highly doubt it's going to stay fun for long. Oh, and fuck you, Hi-Rez, I'll never forgive you for tribes.